Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to another YouTube video here in my short pilot series with videos about financial independence, retire early, FIRE, investing, and that kind of stuff. So, why should you listen to me? I'm 39 years old, recently reached my Coast FIRE number, which in the financial independence, retire early community means the number that you need to hit, the number you need to have invested in your investment accounts to have a fully funded, comfortable retirement at retirement age and never have to invest another dollar today. So recently I've hit that number. I'm continuing on my financial path, going to try to invest as much as I can for as long as I can. Hopefully, and the ultimate goal is complete financial independence. So what I want to talk about here on this video is a little bit away from that topic. Kind of want to sort of rewind in essence and talk about my why, like why am I doing this, why YouTube, why now, that kind of stuff. So I think one of the biggest reasons is to hold myself accountable, to continue on the path that I am. It's not so easy all the time to stay motivated, and I think these videos are a way to continue to research, continue to understand concepts and understand myself, and a way to continue to connect to the community too. So, I'm always sort of researching and watching other creators, learning and listening, reading books. And this is a way for me to stay motivated, to kind of always have something to talk about, always have something to express, and always something that I'm like learning, or there's new things that I want to apply, new concepts that I've learned, to be able to verbalize them and dispense them to other people is a huge way to keep me motivated and continue to go down this path that I've been going down for so long. So I think that's probably top of mind, one of the most important whys or reasons. The second one is technology these days, and for many years has been advancing so quickly. It's never been like so easy to do something like this, and I've tried tons of side hustles under the sun. Not that I plan that this becomes an actual side hustle that is lucrative, but it's totally possible, and it's sort of never been easier these days, especially with like AI and how like you can use AI to create scripts, although I'm not using a script here, I'm being totally off the cuff. But you can create scripts, you can use AI to do research, you can use AI to do design work, you can use AI to just brainstorm ideas. So it's crazy that it's never been easier. And with like filming, I'm doing this on my iPhone, not using a microphone or anything, and the audio is like just good enough, and the lighting is good enough. So it's never been easier to do that, and I like that. I like the off the cuff sort of angle that I'm taking here, because I don't want these to be so heavily produced that it sort of comes off as not genuine. I'm not like an actor or anything. This is all real life. So that's one of the technology is another reason why, another why. As you can tell, being off the cuff, this is not scripted at all. So it's never been easier to do this kind of stuff, and I want to dive in and learn it and figure it out to the best that I can, because there's no better time than right now. As the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago or right now. And I believe that wholeheartedly. If I had started 10 years ago, I'd be in a way different position today, especially if I stayed motivated and consistent. So, but we're starting today, which there's nothing wrong with that either. And I've followed a lot of creators, and I go back to like their beginnings and when they started, and it's always like miles apart, and it's just eye-opening within the space of like 5 years what these creators are capable of doing and what they've learned. And not to say that like I'm gonna become this profound creator, eloquent speaker, master photo or video editor, but a lot of times you just learn so much, and just watching the progression is really eye-opening. And it sort of holds true that the people who started years ago are on a totally different level within 5 to 10 years. So, and they held themselves accountable, and they just kept showing up day after day, no matter if when nobody was watching, and then when like 50,000 people are watching. So it's just always eye-opening to see somebody's journey. And coupled with like the technology we have today, it's just never been easier. So that's another big why. Another why is these videos are helping me with sort of like a personal issue that I've had, and I'm sure many people can relate. Public speaking is not easy. They always say that like people's biggest fear aside from like dying is actually having to deliver a speech or speak publicly in front of an audience, and that's not a strength of mine. I've always been more reserved and calm and collective, and not the most eloquent speaker or public speaker in the past. So the more and more practice I can get, just the more stronger I can be with that. And it's really good that I'm doing this, just to the camera, because kind of speaking eloquently and with a lot of flow has never come natural to me. But the more and more that I do this, the more practice I get, the easier it becomes, and the more I kind of find I enjoy it. I used to sort of totally hate the sound of my voice on recordings, or hearing it back being like, is that really me? Like, I didn't know I sounded like that. But now I'm totally used to the way I sound on camera, and it doesn't bother me at all. But it took some practice. It took some getting used to. So the more and more practice I get, the easier it is. And I would recommend this to anybody who has the same issue. Just even if you don't plan to ever show a video or voice recording to anybody, just, do it in your spare time, do it in your alone time, do it in your safe space, when nobody's home, nobody can hear or see you. Just record yourself, and you just have that in your pocket. You can rewatch it and be like, well, this sounded good there, this didn't there. Maybe I should have just paused here and done that there. And, you can learn from yourself, which is fascinating. I should have tried doing this 10 years ago, but I was so nervous and not really willing to do it. Recording myself speaking was just never going to happen. But I eventually did it and realized it's not that bad and it's not that hard. And there are worse things. And it's kind of fun. It really is kind of fun to just speak freely and off the cuff and unscripted, and kind of see where you can take it, where you can take the conversation that you're having. So that's another why, to just get more and more practice, more and more comfortable in front of a camera. So another side story, also I had to do a job interview once where they required a video where you had to record yourself answering questions. And I remember thinking, this is absolutely crazy. Like, I don't want to do this. I'm not even applying for like a position where I need to be on camera or speak to an audience or whatever. So like, this is crazy. Like, why would they ever do this? And I hated it. Eventually I powered through it. I did get that job, but I was not prepared for that at all. And I almost wanted to give up so many times. But I got through it. But up until that point, it was not easy for me to speak on camera, to be on camera, to think clearly and speak eloquently. So I had no practice then at all, and I hated it. But here I am now. I have a little bit more practice. I think it would have been way easier. So, and as the world shifts towards that kind of technology and sort of that kind of like digital offhandedness, that applying to jobs is all kind of like is all kind of like automated now, and who can really kind of shine and break through the crowd. The best are the people that get the jobs. So having practice with stuff like that is definitely another why or reason to be doing this right now. And then I think finally, the one I'll wrap it up with is that this kind of content creation is a lot different than stuff I've attempted in the past. In my personal life, I have like a music hobby and love songwriting, love listening to music, love creating music, writing music. It's just something I love. Am I the best? Am I even close to the best? No. But I still love the process. I've always fell in love with the process. Like, how do you write a song? Like, what are the parts? How are you going to put it together in a creative way? Like, where are the changes? What are the lyrics, melodies, that kind of stuff? I've always loved that and loved learning about that. And also the recording side, like, all right, how do you record a song and make it sound passable and good and have, decent enough quality to like hold up? And as much as I love that stuff, it takes a long time to learn and to get better at, a tremendous amount of time, unless you have like this inherent talent that a lot of people do, and those are the people that really make it in essence, which I didn't. I had to learn a lot of stuff. I had to take a lot of lessons. I had to watch a lot of videos. I had to put myself in really uncomfortable situations, like taking lessons or like recording with other people, and being in front of like an audio engineer and having to like sing my song or perform my song. I sort of threw myself into those situations just to kind of ease the burden, I guess, so that I can be comfortable doing them over and over again. But anyways, and I eventually did get better and stuff, but still far from like being able to like build a substantial audience or like pay the bills. Not that that was ever my goal, but anyways, that stuff is met with an extreme amount of criticism, from the world. When you like feel proud that you made something and you put it out there and you're really proud of it, but then like comments start coming in about this or that, and there's just so much criticism about that. And I read this sort of quote once that like, nobody is going to criticize you. Nobody who's doing more than you is going to criticize you. And that couldn't be closer to the truth. I found that out, as I receive comments from people. Some of these people like don't have any followers, don't post any content, don't really have any business critiquing anything. They just know they don't like it, which is fine. art is subjective, but they don't know the backstory. They don't know like where you came from, what you had to do to get to where you are, or like where you have the potential to going. Like they don't care about any of that. I'm not saying that they should, but still, all of that comes with so much criticism, and the people who criticize you they're bottom barrel. They always really are. They couldn't be more closer to that. So, but in hearing that, anyways, criticism still kind of cuts through to the heart sometimes. But this kind of content, I feel like, is sort of detached from that. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy learning about it. I've been doing it for a long time. Well, not really the content, but putting the principles into practice for such a long time that I feel educated enough to dispense it and experienced enough to dispense it. And at its core, it's not like performative, really. You just need to get the main points and take that away. And I like the fact that it's like not scripted and not perfect, because that stuff almost doesn't really matter. It's more like my experience, my story. I think that is more important. And, eventually as I go down this path, I'll figure out better ways to like do my filming and my audio, because I like that stuff too. I know enough about that stuff to be dangerous, but I'm just trying to get sort of like my MVP, my minimal viable product, kind of out, I guess, to the world, or just enough so that I know that I can like continue to do it and that I enjoy it. Because I don't want to invest so much time into like having better editing, better video, audio, if at the end of the day, I find I just don't like doing it. And like, why waste any of that time? So it's more about getting like the MVP out there, testing the waters, seeing if I like it, seeing if anybody is interacting or watching and consuming and following, and testing the waters that way, and then moving forward. So I like the nature of YouTube in that way. I'm sure there's still going to be those bottom of the barrel people that are going to have something to say, but I just would feel less attacked in a way if, rather than like trying to do some sort of performative thing and feeling proud on the inside of what I've created and made, even though much of the audience or someone who watches or listens doesn't like it or has something to say, in essence that way. So anyways, that is my explanation of my why. And finally, this is the final one. I really want to help people. I want to find a way, in my life to help people in similar situations, or people that are younger and have more time, because if I had known some of this stuff years earlier, I'd be in a much different position today. I'd just be so much more ahead. But like, I didn't, but here I am. I learned it when I did learn it. And thankfully enough, I still have time. But yeah, I want to help people. I want to help set people up on the right track, help reel people in if they're going off track. I know finances is kind of a sticky, sort of taboo thing to talk about, but I want to get comfortable talking about it and feel knowledgeable, to a degree that people trust me. I want to give my life a little bit more meaning, touch some people out there who I wouldn't sort of interact with, in my own world, and feel connected to the community that's so vibrant and alive today, which is crazy. There's so many content creators out there that I really respect and trust, and I sort of want to feel a part of that space. So But so those are my whys. If you have any thoughts or comments, please let me know. Please drop a comment. Please like and follow, and be on the lookout for more. So have a great day, guys.